everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. Today we're doing 3 different books from 3 different publishers, one from Europa, one from Freight, and one from ECW. Now, one of them is pretty light and fluffy but a little sad. One of them is devastating, and one of them is about war. So, buckle in. Let's start with Freight Publishing. So this is The Turncoat by Alan Murray. Now this is from Freight Publishing. This is a story that takes place in 1941. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing this town right. The Luftwaffe attack in the town of Clydebank. It results in hundreds of people dying, in people being left homeless and harmed and damaged. And the story talks about 2 soldiers who are then given the task of weeding out those who are German informants and who helped make the attack possible. Now, I found this book really captivating, really essential, and really, really well executed. I think that everything in this story, though very sad and hard to read because of the subject matter, very important. I think that this kind of talks about a time and place that gets forgotten quite frequently. Even though we talk a lot about World War II and the experience of the Germans and all of that, yes, it's very commonly discussed, but this is a isolated incident, and I think we always kind of, we learn about it as a whole, but never about a singular. And so the idea of the singular story and how those people were affected by the war and how those people were affected by a military force and an army and death and pain is really, really, really interestingly done. And I think that you really have to kind of stop and remember that wars are based around people as singular experiences, and that every person is experiencing war and they experience it differently. They have different responses emotionally and mentally. I really, really enjoyed this book. I think that it is one that is underhyped and underappreciated. I was so lucky to receive this book from Freight Publishing, and I highly recommend it. Next, we have this. Now this, I love ECW Press. They sent me this because they were like, oh, you liked Claygirl? You'll like this. And they were right. They were right. I'm not saying it's as good as Claygirl because Claygirl has like such a special place in my heart. It is ridiculous, but this is On the Shore of Darkness, There is Light, and it's a novel by Cordella Strube. Now, this has a story about a little girl named Harriet who is 11 years old, and she is 11 going on like 50. She is an intelligent, well-rounded, well-educated little girl, but she definitely comes from an environment where she has been forced to grow up a little too fast. Her parents have gotten to the point where they're not allowing her to look at things like Disney and all of those kind of girly, young, frivolous things that they think are so worthless to her. They really don't allow her to have space to like run around and play in certain ways because they think that it's ridiculous. The story opens with Harriet going out to a parking lot while her brother is playing in a ball game and seeing a baby in a car and trying to get the adults to listen to her, and no one will listen to her, and her parents are accusing her of lying. That is how this story opens. This is how Harriet's life is run. She is considered not hearable because she is a child, but expected to behave as an adult in the same manner. It is really heart-wrenching and really beautiful, but the story of Harriet and her experience and her drive to become an artist and to live her life and to keep moving forward is so beautiful, so breathtaking, and I highly recommend this book to anyone who is looking for something a little more easy to read, a childlike narrator, and a very, very determined little child. And then last but not least, we have this. This is The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood, and this is the Europa edition. I was sent this for review by them. I want to start by saying that this book has stuck with me. It has left me feeling saddened, afraid, nervous, and ashamed. And not ashamed because of anything except for the fact that this book is so based around the idea of shaming women. And I'm not saying that in a way that the book is shaming women because it's trying to shame women. I'm saying it's talking about the experience of women and how they are shamed. And the characters in this book that run this camp that these women are all living on make me feel shame, as far as they have... The premise of this book is that there are 2 women and many others on this camp-like location in the outback in Australia, and it is being run by 1 woman and 2 men who are the guards. They are all on this location because either they were sexually shamed in some way or another, whether it be that they were sexually assaulted, or they had sex with the wrong man and it became public, or they were just promiscuous and having fun with their own sexuality. These women were so behaving in a way that should be considered... I don't want to condone all of the behavior because some of it was reckless and potentially dangerous to the person themselves as a human body. But I can definitely say that there is no reason to shame these women for what they were doing. There is no reason to make them feel like lesser humans or to make them feel as if they are bad people. The story in and of itself is so discomforting and so scary and so not far from potential life that it is a scary idea. And I think for me, the thing that was really hard hitting was the idea that it is so plausible that women would be shamed so much that they would lose the ability to have freedom due to their own choices of freedom to express their sexuality. That is a really scary idea to me, but it is really, really clear that that is what has happened. They have lost their freedom to express sexuality, and that should never happen to any gender or any identity. And this story talks about what it looks like when that freedom is taken and what it looks like when that freedom is shamed. I really think this is powerful. I think it is well done, and I think it is extremely well executed. I definitely think that it's not for everyone. It is hard to read. It is a punch in the face, and it definitely makes you uncomfortable. So please don't try and be a hero and read this because you think it's good for you to read. You need to understand this can be traumatizing. This can be a scary experience, and you don't need to put yourself in that experience to prove that you like. I definitely am guilty of this. I will read a book because I believe that I need the experience of reading that book, and it will trigger me and traumatize me, and I don't need to do that, and I do it, and I always regret it. But please don't try and read something like this if you think it could trigger you or traumatize you. But please know that this book is out there, and it is available, and it is well done, and it needs recognition from those of us who can stomach it and can fight. So, there is that. That has been my book review of Triple Reviews from Great Publishing, whom I love. They were the first people to ever give me a book for review, and I so appreciate that. ECW, which still holds my heart because of The Clay Girl, and now Harriet from On the Shore of Darkness, There Is Light, is definitely in my heart as well, and she will stay there. And then Charlotte Wood's A Natural Way of Things from Europa Publishing, who have worked with me several times, and I really enjoy working with them. They have definitely once again struck me right in my heart and smacked me in the face. I will see you guys soon. Bye.